Welcome back to London Nationals hockey here on Rogers TV as we're back here in the second intermission, joined by a familiar face, Andrew Buttigieg. First and foremost, got to give a tip of the hat to you on the MC duties back a week or so ago on the banquet. You guys put on a heck of an event there at the banquet. So I know, speaking from a personal experience, it's a heck of a time, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's the goal is to try to get everybody out of there as quickly as possible. We did that in less than the awards and the dinner in less than 2 hours, and everyone seemed to have a good time. We hadn't heard nothing but good things, so it was definitely fun, and we have to do it again next year.
You got the 2-year sentence,
Yeah.
Good, it's a couple more years till I get it again. For you, obviously, taking your role not only, obviously, with the organization of the St. Thomas Stars, but between the broadcast side, you're taking care of you're a busy guy right now, sort of thing.
Playoff time.
What is it about, obviously, let's start with the Strathroy series. Obviously, they're going to be in tough against LaSalle, but in that 1-8 matchup. But got to say, when you look at the first game so far in that series, it's not one of those blowout 1-8 situations. That Strathroy club is going to put a bit of a fight up against LaSalle.
It seems like they are tonight, too, but at the same time, Game 1 lacked that playoff feel. I feel like there was not that intensity that you get out of a playoff game. However, Strathroy was down. They scored 2 quick goals. They made it a game. The third period, LaSalle's a very strong defensive team. They're a strong team altogether. That's why they finished number 1, right? So Strathroy will definitely be in tough, but I think any of the series that are going on right now are going to be close games, and maybe even close series if the bottom teams can pull out some upsets like St. Mary's did.
Well, I was going to say, look at last night sort of thing, and the Lincolns have been putting up a pretty good fight against these Nationals clubs. On the St. Thomas side, obviously, it was down to that the back and forth between St. Thomas and St. Mary's for who's going to play here in this series. I got to say, for the Stars too, they've had a good second half. They got a lot of good pickups there, and I got to think that they're going to make a little bit of a ruckus sort of thing.
Yeah, and they have already 2 1-goal games in games 1 and 2. Unfortunately, didn't go the Stars side, but at the same time, they got to put some goals in the net. Kind of lacked offense the first 2 games, but boy, those 2 games were some of the best playoff action I've seen in a while. I mean, they were intense games, physical games, and just good hockey all around. I mean, even here today or yesterday in that sense. I mean, Junior B hockey, playoffs, GOJHL, it's fun stuff to watch. And the St. Thomas series, if they can pull one out tomorrow, they're back at home. That's the way you have to kind of look at that series if you're St. Thomas, right?
Now, my first question to you when you walked in, when I saw you tonight, I said, aren't you at enough hockey rinks?
My day off, I come to it just to watch the game.
Well, that was the thing people will joke with me. The nights are on the road on Friday. Where am I? I'm going to St. Mary's.
Oh, yeah.
But as things kind of go forward here, we're in the early stages of these series. But I got to think that if some people thought that, I know there were some of the predictions. You and I have viewed the forums as everybody likes to make their expert predictions.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk of 4-game sweep here, 5 games here. I think even in the first few games, I think indications are that you might see a few lower series, but I think there might be some surprises.
Oh, definitely. Again, this one, you really can't underestimate the power of St. Mary's. They can score, and they can score fast. I'm surprised this game's still 0-0. The goalies are actually picked up their game here today, and they're doing very well. But in St. Thomas's series, I think they have the confidence. They beat Chatham 5-1 in the regular season at the end. And they've only made it 2 1-goal games on the first 2 games of the series. Strathroy, I've covered them a little bit in the last half of the season, and I mean, they can do anything. I think LaSalle is a bit beat up in a way, physically, and they're missing their best defenseman. If Strathroy can pull one away, especially here tonight at home or in any series, or in any game of the series, I mean, they can become quite interesting. I mean, look at Strathroy's rink, right? I mean, that's just a home ice advantage in itself. St. Mary's, same thing.
There's no neutral zone.
There's no... Same with St. Mary's, though. It's the same thing, but the neutral zone is... The offensive zone and defensive zones are pretty regulation size, but the neutral zone, there is barely anything. So the home ice advantage is huge because of the distinct rinks here. Olympic-sized pad you go to St. Mary's, or in Chatham, you got the fans right on top of you. It's at Timken Center, which is a bigger bowl field. Leamington, Sarnia, look at the distinct differences. Yep. I mean, home ice advantage is huge in these series, and so really... good job for those teams that are able to pull away wins.
I appreciate your time as always, and for those watching at home, I know you're on the London Nationals broadcast. He's still firmly with the Stars on the.
I don't think I've got any
texts
yet.
Not yet. We'll keep an eye on the phone.
All right.
We'll take a quick break. Paige Martin up next to take you through Game 2. She needs plenty of time to get through all those goals. We'll have that up next.